All right, so the map is Ohana. You know, talking Terran versus Zerg on this map. What are your thoughts, Jorisar? I mean, everybody talks about the creep spread, of course. The creep spread. It's pretty useful. It's pretty much all you hear.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do on this map, and as you said, especially against Drewbie's playstyle, which involves like really strong timing pushes and not so much harassment based.
Well, that's interesting as well because we have situations here where and it looks like we're going to be going into a quick regame. Unfortunately, it looks like I think the game was started just before Scarlett was ready. Unfortunately, because Drewbie was the host there, so we're going to be hopping into a very quick regame. And sorry about that, guys, but to go back on your point just now on Ohana, I think that it's almost a little bit of a shame given Drewbie's playstyle, like you mentioned just now, because multiple drops while executing timing pushes seem to be quite strong, or at least it seems to be very much a go-to thing for a lot of Terrans on Ohana. The cliffs, in particular, just surrounding the main base, just make that kind of style of play a little bit more friendly to Terrans. So I would like to see some of that coming out of Drewbie. If we do see a huge timing attack come out here, it would be great to see a bit of harassment come on at the same time.
I actually definitely agree with you. I mean, pulling out some alternative playstyle here, especially against what Scarlett may be completely used to. Like, she's like, okay, I'm going up against Drewbie. She's known that this is going to be our match. Yeah. Of course, the brackets did get shuffled around a few days before, but she's known for about 3 or 4 days now. So she's looked at Drewbie's game. She said, okay, this is Drewbie's playstyle, and it definitely wouldn't hurt him, even if it's not his best and strongest style of play, to mix it up a bit. Guys, we're into the game. Let's take you there. And Jorisar, could you introduce our players for us?
Well, certainly, Kibbles. Guys, we are in to the first game here on stream number 3. We are at IPL 5 and we are live from Las Vegas, Nevada, spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the pink Terran player representing Team Root. Can he overcome his more illustrious opponent? We'll find out in just a moment, guys. It is Drewbie. He is going to be playing against the purple Zerg player spawning in the top left, however, representing Team Acer. She is an absolute boss. Let's see if she can take this series. It is Scarlett.
All right, Drewbie versus Scarlett on Ohana. We can see things already starting off with Scarlett sending her Overlord down to the bottom left here. And, you know, one of the things I like from Scarlett is Overlord placement, a lot actually akin to Hyun, excuse me. I'm trying to remember actually if it was Hyun or Life, because I was absolutely blown away with, you know, Scarlett, she's got this ability to place overlords. Like, for an example, let's take a really simple one here. All right, you're a Terran player, you come down, you build your command center, Jorisar, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's just an overlord floating right over your head, and you're like, oh, all right, looks like they know that I take my third. But, you know, from the in Scarlett's situation, a lot of times she'll take these overlords and put them right on the perimeter where the vision just cuts enough to be able to see that command center.
Yeah, that's really smart.
The small attention to detail from this player is what makes Scarlett one of the strongest foreigners in the world.
No, I think you make a great point there. Snoot also comes to mind as a player who frequently spreads his overlords in such a way that it actually looks like by about the 12-minute mark, he just has vision of the entire friggin' map. That man is amazing. Scarlett definitely capable of doing it completely the same. So we have got the hatchery going down now for Scarlett. Drewbie, of course, starting off with that barracks. So nothing too much out of the ordinary right now. Hatch before pool. And Drewbie's just going to be sending a bit of a scout out right now to see, just to confirm that we don't have any sneaky early game deviations coming out here from Scarlett. But otherwise, things are looking hunky-dory from both sides.
Absolutely. So, Las Vegas, man. We've been having a lot of fun, but these players, you know, they just got in real recently.
Yep, sure.
Most of them came in last night. So it's a little bit of the, you know, fresh off the plane sort of attitude here. Definitely some, you're switching time zones and everything, so maybe a little bit to the detriment of the Koreans. We'll have to see if we get some strong foreigner showings here.
Well, as someone who just traveled in from an Asian time zone, I can actually confirm that the jet lag is reasonable.
Yeah.
It's not that pleasant, unfortunately. But then again, I hope, actually, most of the Koreans had a easier trip here, because I was on the road for a total of 32 hours. I was fortunate enough that I could pass most of that time by sleeping, but that also involved during the day before I got here. So hence my sleep schedule is a little bit messed up at the moment. I think, though, a lot of the Koreans have been able to adjust well. I mean, I only saw one of them here this morning, so hopefully the rest of them were in their beds and be okay.
Hey, you know, the food in the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas is fantastic.
Oh,
so that's
it's good, man.
That's going to be helping them catch up a little bit on maybe that lost energy.
I think so.
The glycogen, they got to restore it, man.
I think so, man. Great hotel, great staff,
fantastic.
Great food, just great hospitality. This is a fantastic venue to be holding this tournament. I'm really, really happy that everyone got here and everyone can experience what it's like to be here. It's really good all around.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see you guys out at a future one. For now, you'll be able to catch some Zerglings running up the ramp. Of course, you wouldn't be able to see this game right now. Bunker is going to be able to complete. Scarlett going to get out of there with just one Zergling. She managed to get a little bit of information there. So did she, in fact, see the command center? Let's take a peek at that. Oh, she has seen it with her Overlord, which may go down right now. You know, we were just talking about how good Scarlett's Overlord positioning is, but here's Drewbie taking advantage of maybe a little bit of a mistake there out of Scarlett, poking it a bit far and not getting the information she wanted.
Very, very close to surviving, actually, that Overlord, it has to be said. But Scarlett, interestingly, has gone for a reasonably quick layer. It's already halfway complete before the 6-minute mark here. So that's going to be very interesting. I wonder if she has a specific strategy in mind. Note that the creep spread from Scarlett hasn't really focused on that just yet. We do have a queen down at the ramp. Going to start spreading those tumors out into the center, but nothing stupidly fast in the early game so far. I'd love to see what this really quick tech switch is from her. Are we going to see quick Muta?
This looks like it's a 2-base Muta build. You know, she's sitting on just 33 workers. Going to be waiting for that Spire. She's got enough here. You can see the drone. And
there we go.
There it is. So, this is a very invested play out of Scarlett. It's really strong against, well, maybe what Drewbie's going for here. You know, it's best against like a Hellion Banshee opening. You can use those to deny expansions and things like that. And it is just an incredibly hard counter to that playstyle that we've been seeing out of strong Terrans right now, like Sting. Sting uses this in a lot of his ZvT, but Drewbie here, he's got a decent Marine count with these double reactored barracks. So
he does, but they can only be in one place at a time. If Drewbie decides to move out across the map with this and then just goes double reactor Hellions behind it, I can't help but feel that that's going to give a great time for the Mutas to loop in from behind. The Spire's now over halfway done. Scarlett has got a decent number of links out on the map and now really starting that creep spread in earnest as Drewbie pokes in with some Marines.
Oh, this is going to get pretty intense, Jorasar. These Lings are going to have to hold off the Marines for just a little bit here. You can see 16 Lings already on the way for Scarlett right now. She needs to hold out until these Mutas hit the field. She's making a Baneling nest. Here we go. Marines on the ground are throwing down the scan. Going to take out a couple of tumors. Hellions joining the fray, but they're targeting the Queens. They're not hitting the Zerglings. Marines taking a lot of unnecessary damage there, and already the Marine count getting very low.
Drewbie, yeah, I completely agree with you. Wasn't completely efficient in that engagement, but he did have enough to just stall out anyway. And he's just continuing to scan and take out creep tumors, which is exactly what he needs to do right now. I'm not sure he wants to go straight into the main base. I mean, Scarlett can reinforce pretty quickly from so close to the hatchery. 6 Mutas on the way. The Baneling nest just popped out, but we do have him moving into the natural expansion. Drewbie going to try and put a lot of pressure on. The Queen's now going down. First Queen, second Queen, and the third looking like it's going to disappear as well, but the Mutas are now out on the field. These Hellions just going to have to roast as many drones as they can before they get killed off.
They're up to 8 and counting right now, Jorasar, but Drewbie has a lot of information here. You can see he's already got missile turrets on the way. We saw him building an engineering bay while he moved out here, and that was so important for Drewbie to get the intel that he needed to see this 2-base Muta build before it was in his base, killing SCVs. And right now, actually, the Mutas are going to be forced to come home to deal with more Hellions, which just gives Drewbie all the time in the world to prepare for these. He will, however, lose these Hellions, but 12 workers killed is a fairly substantial amount, especially when you consider that Scarlett went for a 2-base Muta build.
Interestingly to note, though, if we take a look at the units lost tab just for a second, Drewbie's actually lost marginally more. Sure, you managed to kill off those drones, but don't forget how many Hellions were lost simultaneously. So Scarlett, I feel, is in a position where she has map control with the Mutas. She can fly them around. Drewbie knows, of course, that Hellions can't exactly move out across the map without taking damage from these Mutas now. Scarlett has map control, and she should use this opportunity to either go for some really big aggression if she wants to do a lot of damage, but also, she has the option to just drone up right now. She has the 3 bases down. She can get up to a more palatable number of drones and then really put the pressure economically on Drewbie here. Let's see what she chooses to do.
Yeah, we're not seeing any more Banelings out of her quite yet, and 4 is definitely not enough to...
14 more Lings on the way, though, Kibbles. I think we're going for that, going for a push here.
Yup, 8 more Banelings. That's going to bring the total to 12, which is certainly going to be enough to bust down this wall that Drewbie has. He's going to be building a command center to help narrow and choke a little bit. We can see the Mutas trying to swing around, get whatever damage they can in here, but Drewbie seems to be sensing the aggression. No, he lowers the supply depot for the moment.
Here's what's happening right now. Drewbie knows that Scarlett has map control with the Mutas, so Drewbie is expecting Scarlett to sit back and drone up. That's what That's what intuitively he thinks Scarlett is going to do. Scarlett has been producing nothing but Lings and Banelings right now, and when this push hits, it's going to hurt a lot. We have some Marines popping down now towards the front of the wall, but that's exactly where Scarlett wants them, for those Banelings to pop in, and here we go.
Oh, Drewbie just getting sight of this. The Banelings rolling over the Marines and now going to be crashing into the bunker. The command center only halfway done. It is going to serve as a little bit of a wall here. The Marines trying to do what they can to these Mutalisks. The turret's going to be helping as well, but there is so much here from Scarlett. Banelings in the mineral line as well. Jorisar, will Drewbie die right here?
I think so. He's down to 42 supply versus 79. This was unexpected from Scarlett as far as Drewbie was concerned, waiting for her to drone up, but that did not happen in this game, and more Lings now reinforcing. Scarlett isn't droning up behind this. She's got 34 more Zerglings on the way. She knows she can just effectively rally them into the main base now and keep that mineral line completely and utterly shut down. These Banelings chasing the SCVs, getting a couple more kills. Drewbie down to less than half the supply of his Zerg opponent.
And Drewbie is just looking so dead right now. I mean, he's down to 35 supply. Scarlett at 78, and as you said, continuing to string Zerglings into the base. And one of the things that's really important for Drewbie he hasn't been able to do is reestablish this wall off.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head there. If he could get a couple more bunkers up after the initial Baneling aggression, then he might have been okay. Actually, Scarlett chucking away a couple of Lings there, a little bit cost inefficiently, but now we have some Banelings to clear the way up the ramp, and that'll be more than enough to clear the way. Drewbie's army, once again, decent split there. He just doesn't have the numbers, though, to back it up right now.
And the medevacs are running very low on energy. They've bought a lot of time here for Drewbie, but Scarlett now, she's droning behind it. She's making more mutas, and these mutas should be able to effectively harass Drewbie to death.
Now, one thing I do want to say about Scarlett's push here, it did a lot of damage because it was unexpected. Drewbie thought Scarlett was going to be droning up a lot earlier. But interestingly, I think that once Scarlett was inside the main base of Drewbie, she could have maybe started droning up one round earlier or something like that, because Drewbie was just able to stabilize.
Yeah.
And imagine if Scarlett had 7 or 8 more drones than she currently has now. She would be at an even larger advantage. If we take a look at the worker count, guys, we have Scarlett at 56 workers to 21. So she just needs to hold on right now, and she should just win the game.
And it looks like she's catching some drop ships. Drewbie not reacting right now. He needs to get back and lower these. No, going to be targeting down. No, instead does not go for the full medevac. Marines going to string out, but they will certainly perish away, and these medevacs shouldn't be long-lived for this world either.
Yeah, 2 Banelings moving up there to attempt to take out 1 Marine, and then Scarlett realizes, oh, hang on a second, I don't actually need to do that. So she just moves back, lets the mutas finish the job, and Drewbie, perhaps banking on that drop to do a little bit of damage and distract Scarlett while he gets his economy back up, just gets it completely and utterly cleared up. He is still down at 25 workers versus 56, and this is a very tough position for him to be in.
Yeah, it's actually, like, terrible. Let's be honest. 70 supply right now. 205. But he has stabilized. He's got a nice defense here, a decent siege tank spread. A lot of Marines as well. Muta's going to be coming in from the top. Will be promptly met by a missile turret and the death of one of their kind. So
and 19 more Banelings coming in. So Scarlett got a round or 2 of drones in. She's feeling comfortable with her economy right now, taking her 4th base behind this as well. And Drewbie is so clumped up at the top of that ramp. This could be really bad.
And he's on siege. He is going to be running a Marine out ahead of the pack. Spots the Banelings. He should immediately be sieging this army. If he engages,
okay, there we go.
Yeah, he needs these siege tanks so badly, and needs to make sure that he target fires with them as well. If he doesn't, he'll quickly find his army map it up.
I think so, Kibbles. This is such a difficult position for Drewbie to be in. He has gone all the way up, though, to 86 supply right now, which is great. He's making Marines 4 at a time, and as long as he doesn't just carelessly lose these siege tanks or anything like that, he will be able to get a small foothold out in the middle of the map. Scarlett, though, I think she's just waiting for a decent enough time to wrap around this army and completely crush it. And this really is, I think, the last army that Drewbie can readily produce this game before Scarlett has the option of just running over him. He's going to be moving in towards a 4th base, but Scarlett's right behind.
We'll have to see how the engagement goes. If he can target fire well, and these Banelings may be able to deal with this army reasonably well. Is he? No, he's not. He's hitting the single Zergling, in fact, and Scarlett is going to roll over this army that Drewbie, as you said, Jorisar, vitally needed.
That's right, guy. Oh, and still with so many Banelings to spare, Scarlett's still on 108 supply versus the 61 from Drewbie. Now, yes, the 4th base got taken out there, but unfortunately, it was at too high a cost. Drewbie now on his last legs. The army he has at his natural expansion is slowly dwindling, about half the size it was before, and he's been macroing quite well given his position. He's been spending all his money on replenishing his army. He just can't do it fast enough compared to Scarlett.
Yeah, you know, he's definitely holding on well here because Scarlett hasn't gone in for the kill, and believe me, she wants. She absolutely wants to, because you don't want to spend. Nice Baneling connect there for Drewbie, by the way. These Banelings having no support. The Marines kiting them so effectively. Really needing Zergly support right now is Scarlett, but Scarlett doesn't want to spend, you know, a ton of energy on a really long game right now. This is this is a gauntlet-styled tournament, Jorsar.
No, it really is.
You don't want long games. So, I mean, Scarlett wants to end this, but Drewbie is just not letting her.
Well, it is the first game of the day. I mean, our players could be a little bit tired, and Scarlett might just want to play it super safe. There might be people right now thinking, well, Scarlett could have finished this X minutes ago. Why didn't she? And you might well be right, but from Scarlett's point of view, if you know you're in such a big lead, you might as well get more ahead. That's just a fantastic thing to do in this position, and I think that's I think that's the right way to play, especially if it's the first game of the day. You just want to make sure that you have this in the bag, and I'll tell you, you know what a really good way to make sure you have it in the bag is, Kibbles?
What's that, Jorsar?
Banelings. Yeah.
All right, Banelings on the way right now, going to be chasing down this army of Drewbie, falling back
very
to
good
siege
siege tank placement.
And Drewbie, I mean, he's got the position right now. He's holding the Xel'Naga Tower, so he's got incredible vision. Scarlett, as we would have expected, with incredible creep spread right now. Muta's going to try to catch a couple of Marines here, and it looks like Scarlett is going to go for it. Banelings and Lynx charging in. The tank's going to get hit in the front. Nice splitting out of Drewbie, not allowing these Banelings to make great connections until finally they do meet up with that group on the left. Drewbie is holding on for the moment, reinforcing with additional Marines, but they are simply going to be mowed down.
Yes, GG coming out from Drewbie, so Scarlett takes game number 1.
All right.
And I have to say, I mean, Drewbie's tank positioning at the end there was pretty good, but it's only good enough for as long as Scarlett can't come in with the Mutalisk and pick off those tanks. And you know what's stopping those tanks from being picked off? The Marines. But the Marines are the ones that want to be moving out in front, seeing where the army is, picking off creep troopers and stuff like that. And there were only so many places Drewbie could be, especially when he was that much supplied down from Scarlett. So Scarlett's going to be taking, I'd say, a pretty convincing game number 1 there.
I agree with you, and I will say I'm a little surprised that Scarlett didn't abuse the difficulty with positioning that Drewbie should have encountered, but honestly, Drewbie did a good job of like keeping the threat of pressure on the field. Like, hey, guess what? If you're caught out of position, I won't be afraid to push and do a lot of damage. But guys, Scarlett going to take game number 1. We'll be moving on to game number 2 shortly, as soon as we find out what map these guys want.
That's right, guys. So it looks like we're going to be going to a very quick commercial break, and when we come back, guys, Scarlett and Drewbie, game number 2. Don't go anywhere.